Welcome everybody to the Season 37 NCBB National Championship game. This is a college football themed league on Fumble, and after a long season, we've got the Oregon Waterfowl, coached by Kryten, and the Pitt Panzers, coached by Kzarik, High Elves, Dwarves, undefeated Dwarves at that, and I believe a one-loss Oregon team. Only loss came against a previously unbeaten Ottawa squad, but Pitt beat them in the semifinal, while Oregon beat a very solid RMC Amazon squad, and so one of these two teams will be our next national champion. Currently, we've got Hyperbolemer and Baz with us. I know Apajar and Charlie are supposed to be joining, and I imagine many people will be interested in this match because it's going to be a good one. Several inducements to be had. A keg, an apothecary, and 3 dirty tricks. Interesting. Some people like cards, some people don't. I believe JR has said in chat before that 3 cards is the equivalent of a wizard. And while I'm not sure that's completely accurate, one would have to look back at a bowl game that was played a mere 2 hours ago to see how impactful a card can be if you get the right one and use it well. So we'll see what cards he has when the time comes. As far as the teams go, both are missing one player. The Oregon Lino not important. The Dwarf Runner potentially very important. Movement 7 block tackle, nothing to sneeze at. His counterpart is also movement 7 block tackle, but also kickoff return, so Quadri Henderson will have to do all the running on offense, I imagine.
If you want someone to chat with until the other guys show up, I can join you for a bit.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Kzarik, and I was like, yeah, wizard sounds good. And he's like, wait, I can't take one.
You can't take one.
Yeah.
You could. You might get in trouble for it, but if anyone is unfamiliar with the league, we have a no wizard rule. They don't really fit the fluff of college football. You could probably make an argument for it, but wizards are strong. The league feels like it's a good place without them overall. And imagine if all these Elven teams who already have a built-in advantage of the 4-year graduation rates also had access to wizards. These strength teams would never have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, dwarves aren't ones who are going to get a ton of value out of it anyway. So I don't think you mind too much if you're Kzarik. I mean, cards can do some good things for you.
Perfect defense to start for the Ducks. Let's take a look at what Oregon's rolling with. Bunch of unskilled linos, an agility 5, a guard, a kick, tackle blitzer, guard mighty blow tackle blitzer, strength 4 blodge step catcher, agility 5 guard leap sidestep catcher. That's nice. Wrestle leap dodge. Good catch by Mr. Henderson. Kzarik just pretty standard dwarf roster. Guard, stand firm, mighty blow, some sidestep on the Slayer. Not a lot of skilled up positionals though. There's a rookie blitzer there.
Well, he had the blitzer die last game.
Oh, that's right.
And then he has the other runners out. And I mean, 2 Troll Slayers is just a mistake. So
wait, you said 2 Troll Slayers is a mistake?
Yeah, I mean, one's even like
questionable.
It's a luxury. I mean, if you look at most really good dwarf coaches, they start with 0 and will eventually add 1, but down the road.
What's the thinking behind that?
Dwarf linemen are better. Pretty much what it comes down to.
I don't know. I'm a man who loves some frenzy and some dauntless. You toss Juggernaut on that guy, and I would go to town. But I know nothing about dwarves, so it's not too surprising. First blitz doesn't really do a whole lot. Probably want to keep him in contact, force a dodge, but Nothing too bad for the Ducks so far. Abajar, welcome in.
Good evening to you, sir.
I know I banned you from talking about hockey, but if you would grace us with your Blood Bowl knowledge, we'd be happy to have it.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit on Oregon here. The offense is really going to have to run through Peter Charbonneau. He is their senior thrower. 99 points. He's a point away from hitting the century mark, which would make him the first non-catcher in Oregon in their long, long history to hit the century mark. And him playing this game will make him tied for the second longest tenured Oregon Duck. So this is a pretty big game for Charbonneau to end his career on.
Yeah, Mr. Charbonneau made some clutch plays against me in out of conference, and we're talking like a 5+ pickup and like a 5+ throw, and maybe even another 5+ throw later in the game to really seal things. It was a very, very clutch plays by a senior player. And fast forward 10 weeks or so, and now his team's playing for the title. Does this matchup, Baz, Apo, or anybody, just simply come down to the Oregon defense holding on for as long as they can and forcing the Dwarves to expose themselves to the leap sack attempt? Like, can their numbers sustain? Like, does he just have to like wait it out almost?
I mean, it's high elves. They're aviate elves. It's just staying in front of the dwarves until deep in the half's absolutely viable, especially if you can get through the first turn without taking your removals. I mean, ideally you're not needing to go for the leap sack. I mean, that's what happens if the drive starts to get away from you. But as a elves, you're sitting here and you 100% think, hey, we can make it so that the score is never really likely if they don't get some removals early.
It's true. Having a movement 7 runner is very helpful. You can be 9 scores out and have a decent chance at it, but just a mere mortal dwarf with agility 3, no dodge, so you're gonna have to definitely take a few elves out, and that definitely helps. Doesn't Apo it, which is probably fine. I'm not sure the tackle is very useful in this matchup, but another player getting taken out for the rest of the game might be worth it. High elves running with 14, dwarves with 13, plus extra apothecary and keg. Wog seems to be a believer in cards and certainly have their uses. We'll see if Kzarik's got any good luck with them. You may have missed it earlier than Wog. We were playing the Salty Tears Bowl, and Baz had the distract card. Smacked like 6 of my players, and 3 of them decided to bonehead. It was not what I needed.
Yeah, that card rarely actually does as much as you think it can, but it did that time. I was like, hey.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I'm not sure it's just like a wizard. Sure, it has a big area of effect. Oh, it does all or nothing. Well, maybe. Big difference is that the wizard, you see it. You know it's there, so you have to think about that the entire time. Was there a 2-card max limit? We should really talk to the commissioner and see if he knows anything about that. Did we have a rule about that? Should probably double check.
I don't see anything on the rules page, but if your rules page is anything like the NBFL rules
It's
page, it
not
doesn't
really
say
up
anything.
to date, yeah.
There is a limit of 2 dirty players per team. I didn't know that.
True. It doesn't come up that often, but
I'm gonna need to go and start editing my opponent's teams and then accusing them of cheating.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the group page that's just out of date for various reasons. That's probably not worth a reroll. No, Garka's not the reigning champ. I definitely made the time to put my logo in there. That is one thing I made sure to do. Alas, I will not be there for much longer. Either we'll have the Waterfoul for, I believe, the 7th time, or Kzarik in some form or fashion for the 4th time. I believe he's got 3 at Duke. The freshman also has 3. I was fortunate enough to also have 3. Quite a few with 1, several with 2. But Kryten and Oregon just in a class by themselves, as per usual. It's been a while, though. He's not been in a title game for quite some time. Not for lack of trying. Kzarik going for a little more contact this turn. He's +1 on the numbers, so he feels more confident in getting in the trenches with the elves.
He's also got the guard stand firm set up in a really good spot to hide behind him, so he can afford to chip away at the outside.
Has Charlie joined us yet? He doesn't look like he's joined us.
All the credit in the world today to Coach Baz, who is in the chat with us, for illuminating all of us on just how unbelievably good Bretonian yeoman can be.
Yeah, Bretonia's got a roster that, I mean, coaches like me who only play in 2 leagues and not much else, you don't see that often. And it's such a funky team to try to deal with. And Baz played them well, got the W, and, stand firm, very underrated, defend. You get it for free on some cheap fodder.
Yeah, they're a really good team when they decide to not get hurt.
Well,
Which, that second half there, I just took so many hits and they just kept standing back up. And I was like, okay, we can do this.
Indeed they did.
Couple of big stuns that turn. It's going to make this a lot more difficult, especially because one of those stuns is on the leap guard players that takes him out of the next turn potentially.
Kind of a risky opening move, but it does put the guard in a really good spot. If you blitz here, you get a chain and can free up your player. Or if you wanted to, you could set up a follow-up block. Because that is a guard blitzer, so. The only problem is that Slayer's a sidestepper, so if you don't get him down, could come back to hurt you, and you're still in contact with the other blitzer, but solid play there. It looks like Gark did some research. Yeah, it's
hockey research or card research?
Card research. We had a couple different rules for cards over the many seasons we've been here. Oh, also, Gark, no, we've talked about this. No hockey tonight. Not until this is over, at least. For a while, we decided to try to spice up rivalries by giving both team 2 free cards, I think. And maybe at one point they weren't allowed. I'm pretty sure they've always been allowed, so... I don't know. Right now, they're allowed if you want them. I don't think you can take them in most other places. See, this is the best part about having unpaid interns. They can do all this research for me. I don't even have to know my own league's rules. This is great. Oh yeah, the search tool, Control F, all that good stuff. It just searches inside the PM. Okay, that's very helpful. Nice setup here by Kzarik, getting 2 shots at this guy. Can't take him down, but you set yourself up for a 3rd shot. And there you go. Nice one, Apajar. Got him. Alright, so Kzarik making some nice moves. Hasn't really been able to get anyone out. Did get the 2 stuns last turn, gets another one here. He's kind of made his way across midfield, but he's not careful.
I'd like to ask a question of you guys that are a little bit more familiar with dwarves than I. Does it concern you here that that you're getting pushed to the top of the pitch as early as you are here?
As someone who doesn't play dwarves, but in general, I would say getting pushed there is not ideal.
It wouldn't concern me yet. I have a problem of just running to the sideline with every team. So, might not be the right person to ask, but 4 turns after this is enough time to cut back middle. If he's still stuck up on the top without really anywhere to go on turn, 6, then it's starting to be an issue. So next turn's going to be really important. But
speaking of important, that random lino decided to try to settle some grudges in the old book and went for a foul on Palan Lath. Didn't get him out, did stun him, which keeps the ball safe another turn potentially, but did get caught in the effort. So tired of AG5 cleavers in your conference? Yeah, that's the struggle with lizards, man. You try to do your best to keep the ball safe, and just some stupid freaky elf just decides like, hello.
I would gladly trade these dwarves for some elves with anybody if they want to change conferences.
I mean, I think you match up better with elves much more than dwarves. Dwarves are just a pain. And Kzarik's good, so it's a terrible combination.
Yeah, I've been asking him to play worse, and he's just not doing it. It's pretty frustrating.
Psychic powers, even. Oh, he's going for an interesting shot here.
Okay, this felt a little early. I think that he just kind of gave the drive away.
It's possible. I mean, the dwarves can't move very far forward, but... Okay, without... I don't know. I mean, what are the odds of just straight up wrestle versus that runner with a reroll? Is it like 40-ish%?
Okay. I don't know.
You have an app for that, right?
Yeah, I can figure it out.
Garks is 30. I mean, either way, they're not great, and like Baz said, it seems...
with the reroll, it's 44%.
Yeah, I mean...
But if we're also accounting for a 3+ leap beforehand.
True.
Then it's 34%. I don't know. I mean...
It feels early.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to, especially with elves, I tend to wait on my shots. I do think with the ban last turn, I would have been thinking just kind of, let's play this out for another turn or so and see what direction it goes.
Yeah, we've had 3 players on the ground for a while due to stuns over the last 2 turns, but it's technically even numbers otherwise, so I felt like if you just hold on for another turn and stabilize, then take your shot maybe on turn 5 or 6.
I mean, well, you don't need to get it away, but you do make it so it's a position where the elves really don't have the numbers and the time to get back in front of you, right? What as the elf coach here, you're playing high elves, and for a reason. Part of that is you kind of have 2 ways to win on defense. You can either get the sack, but you can also just kind of grind them out, turn after turn. Kind of think of the difference in how MRT plays versus how Stim plays, where they're both viable ways of playing defense. And now you've kind of stuck yourself to where if you don't get the sack, the dwarves are scoring.
This is normally where I'd be a little apprehensive about making my cage here, because you're going to have somebody in contact, but you toss enough guard around him, you're probably not super worried about an unskilled, no wrestle, no block lino making a gap, and there's not really any players down here to do anything, but the leapers are nearby.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you mark them with stand firm, so now you can mark someone else one on the blood spatter, and it's pretty solid.
The old divide and conquer. You've got a couple random elf linos down there who can't really do much by themselves. You got a bunch up top isolated. You got a bunch on the ground. Both teams have plenty of rerolls for the rest of this half. We should mention, of course, this being a tournament game, there is overtime if needed, so reroll conservation in the second half could be very important. Just the nature of dwarves, the most likely outcome is 1-1 in regulation. So we'll see if someone can break that mold, or we'll need good old-fashioned overtime. So what's your play here if you're Kryten? I don't think you want to go all in again because your team would be just completely out of position and you'd probably have no chance after that. Do you try to blitz through the Troll Slayer, and if you get a knockdown you mark the ball, or... I mean, you almost want to go through the Lino instead since he's not a sidestepper, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's not... I think that the placement Kzarik has right now is pretty strong. Just his guards on the right side. Normally, I mean, you're obviously having the front of your cage not having guards a bit of an issue, but he can't get his leaping wrestler around there. I'm not sure what I'd be doing here. I mean, I probably do. You're going to be taking hits next turn regardless. Are you going to try to swing in front, or are you just going to kind of try to, you can try to do another leap credibly.
Yeah, I mean, you do the 2+ here. I mean, the double guard here is really annoying, though. Because let's say we take Hubert and dodge southeast and come around. You'd be doing 2 GFIs after the dodge, plus the leap, plus which still be a -2 die. So yeah, I think you need to play a little more conservative and try to head off the cage. Oh.
Okay, I like that. Okay. I like that a lot. I mean, that's a 55% dodge. I'll take that.
5+ with dodge, 55%. 2 die on the ball with a reroll. Just couldn't get not both down. POW or a defender stumbles.
Yeah, and you still had your Edge 5 and
another catcher nearby.
Yeah, I mean, that could have that was a nice play. Could have definitely been game winning.
Also goes back to the point about him not having any guard in the front of the cage.
Right.
Could have come back to haunt him there, but
there was the one space that he could kind of get through, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, I mean, I've played against Kryten for years in both in BFL and NCBB, and that 5+ move with dodge, 55% doesn't sound great, but when your options are limited like that, and if you do make the dodge, you have a 2 die in the ball. And
right, I mean,
that's a game-winning play if you get it to pop.
I mean, it's like, well, actually, let's check because this is easy enough. Yeah, I mean, that was basically the same odds to pop the ball. No, that was better odds to pop the ball than the leap half die he did the turn before. And yeah, I think more people would have had an issue with this one than that one. I mean, I didn't even see this one. Like, it didn't even cross my mind, right? Because it's, not something you're really often trained to think about. But Kryten's always been very good at knowing when to take the bigger swings, right? He's good at having, knowing the pulse of the game, and he's not afraid to lose the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, and the best thing about that move was, even if you fail, as long as your team doesn't just get beaten off the pitch the next couple turns, at worst you're down 0-1, and you've only lost 1 player so far, so you'll probably have 11, even with a couple bunks to the head. And, championship game down 1-0 with the second half, you still have a decent shot.
Yeah, it's definitely not awful. I mean, there's not a 1-turn chance in this one, but maybe you get a riot or something, and bigger thing is you can probably create another chance on, turn 6 or 7.
That is the thing about this current board, is that it is very scattershot right now. There's a bunch of elves on the ground, there's elves standing at the bottom, so getting a whole nother cage together is just kind of like awkward and a little imperfect. So if you can force Kzarik to move somewhere he doesn't want to, and then all of a sudden he has to score before turn 8, maybe give yourself a chance before the half.
Yeah, I can't see any way Kzarik scores on turn 7. Like at all. Ideally,
yeah, it's not what he wants to do, but
I mean, it's just it's a there. I can't see a position showing up that would make him have to, I guess.
Aggressive reroll there, but you have 4 and you're not doing much else this turn, so we'll see if Mr. Grimm can survive this block. Well, would have been out the rest of the game, but Apothecary brings him back, so without the strength 4 piece, you've only got the wrestle guy way out of position. You've got your guard assist kind of stuck with no one to follow up. Do you just get out of the way at this point as the Ducks?
Yeah, I mean, now that the Athlete's gone, it's kind of a it's something you have to consider now.
Live to fight another day, as they say, right?
Yeah.
think it'd be a mistake to leave that catcher unmarked, though. Granted, there's so much guard around the ball that I'm not sure it's worth it, but...
I mean, that catcher was going to need to be the one to attempt the sack. So...
That's what I'm saying. Like, that last line-up, I'm assuming you stand basically in that blood splatter and tag him and make it very difficult for him to get closer. But, I don't know. It's probably such a dismal chance, and there's very little recovery chance that take another swing may not be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, he has other guys who can get in range, but I'm basically saying, like, the sack player is also the player who's in the best spot to score from if the sack worked, right? Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I mean, let's say you get the guard in there, and then you leap in there with Hubert, and you get the, like, 30% sack to happen. Okay, that may end up saving you the touchdown. It probably won't. They'll still probably have enough guys nearby and get it. But if you fail something here and get Peelan injured or fouled the next turn, or you're still in contact with all these... Okay, only one guy's in contact because everyone else is on the ground. But you could lose the game here if something happens to a couple more players.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think... I hate doing it. It's hard for me to do it, but I think it's entirely viable to pull out at this point and, live for the second half and know that, okay, we're going to have to get this thing to overtime.
Very important for a guy to know when it's time to pull out. That's just good life philosophy right there. We'd love for Gart to interject. We'd love for Gart to actually speak to us one time. English, Spanish, doesn't matter. Some of us would be more interested than others. Does not appear to be falling back.
No, he's going to go for it again.
I assume he's going to blitz this little blitzer guy at the bottom, free up the... Nope, he's doing something. Almost. Not quite. So, leap sack attempts not quite working so far for Oregon this half. Down to one reroll, no apothecary. Dwarfs in a pretty commanding position. Get blocks on the two standing elves, a blitz on the other one. This could be painful depending on how these blocks go.
I mean, this particular one especially.
Well, knockout, but you get one roll before the half. Well, two, right? Because you'll have the extra turn.
Yeah, I mean, if Kryten only has one roll before the half, he's real happy because something weird happened.
True. Doors forgot it was turn 8, didn't walk into the end zone. Classic stuff. Start of the second half, you think you have a 2-die block on a Saurus and you throw a 1-die block. It's Blood Bowl. We've all done it.
Yeah, right at the beginning, I was like, oh. Luckily, that's not the one where I double scold, or I would have felt real stupid.
Yeah. I mean, there was a game I played against Kryten way back in, like, season 8, 9, 10, so, like, way back in the ancient days, where I finally outmaneuvered the Ducks, and things were going great. I was going to be up 1-0 at the half, and he slips this catcher in on, like, a 3+, 4+, 4+, does a 2-die on the skink with strip ball, and I forget about strip ball, so I just sidestep in the end zone. I'm like, all right, I'll just take the touchdown. It's cool. And then it scatters all the way across the field where his entire team is, and he just takes the ball and walks in, and it's like, it's all gone. My hopes, my dreams, everything.
Yeah, I remember playing you in NBFL where you got me to use shadowing to open up my own cage so you could blitz the ball.
I did plan that one. I didn't
That
think it
one's
would
pretty
work,
fun.
but I did plan that one.
I was like, oh wow, what did I just do?
One of those auto clicks that goes against you. Well, I still don't think that dump off decision was poor in your game. It didn't work. I don't think the base decision was poor. Alright. As Kryten, do you throw the Hail Mary leap sack with Hubert again? Just because, well, now it's tougher, but. Aha! Things could be turning on that failed block.
Yep, that could be everything right there.
That could be the turning point of the game.
I mean, I suspect he'll go for the sack one more time.
I mean, if you get it, and then he fails the pickup, that's the best thing you can ask for. So, I mean, Hubert's important, but is he that important? I think we can risk him one more time. And yes, Kzarik's freshman blitzer, literally first game, national championship game. You know, freshman in college, and all of a sudden this big responsibility is thrust upon you. It's like, hey, we lost our other blitzer who was experienced upperclassman, but get in there and don't mess it up. But Mr. Cam Bright kind of messed it up. We'll see if he gets a chance to redeem himself in the second half, though. Well, didn't quite get the leap this time. Do you throw the 3-die block? Do you dare tempt the gods?
Yes, probably. I mean, if you roll 6 goals, you just say,
maybe it's not your day. Yeah. I mean, what are the odds?
Nothing could be done.
What are the odds of a triple skull? No, like I'm actually asking, like, what are the odds of rolling it?
No idea. It's not. I mean,
you have the app, don't you?
Yeah, but that takes like time, man.
Okay, well, fair.
I mean, I'm checking.
It's true, Wog. I mean, technically, you're not wrong. They are higher than 0.
So with a reroll, you have a 99.998% chance of not rolling 6 skulls.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think your chance of getting a casualty and that giving you a man advantage in a potential overtime is higher.
That's fair. So 3-die, worth it. Pitt scores the touchdown, turn 8.
Now, just don't be an idiot and make it a 2-die instead, and have your block mummy quad skull, and then draw and have that be one of the pivotal games that might have kept you from having a title shot.
Yeah, that'll happen. All right, so Pitt gets
a touchdown. That happened to though.
Still 12 ducks, Mr. Pelan. So kind of snoozing in the KO box, but he'll get another shot to come back at the full halftime. Clearly no one turn possible with a triple stand firm line, so Kryten, pleading's not the right word, but asking? Politely, in fact, for the fan/ref to put some time back on the clock. What's the strategy behind having the door fly in there as opposed to on column 2? You don't really force an extra dodge.
Well, he can't dodge through the back line either way. He has 3 stand firm.
Right. But just in theory, like, is there any benefit to having them on column 3 as opposed to column 2?
If there's a riot or something, you're a little bit closer.
Okay, that's right.
That would be it. But I mean, I'd probably have it set up kind of like how I did against you on turn 16, where it's kind of a more like if you have a 3 stand firm, just set up a normal 2-turn defense just in case.
That's fair. Not that I'm sure like what a dwarf 2-turn defense should look like, because you're so damn slow that maybe having this many players free in the back is better. We'll see what we... Oh! We get it! There's hope for the Ducks, even though they have no rerolls.
That makes things a little bit more interesting.
Mr. Charbonneau might get a shot at the century mark, and it'd be important. Not just some, end of the turn, end of the half, just no fluff pass. Alright, so first thing you do, move players into scoring range. I gripe on people every time on turn 7 when I see them do anything else first.
I saw someone on the Blood Bowl 2 playoffs lose because they quad scored on turn 7 before getting the ball into range.
Classic. Thank you, Hyper. We'll catch you later. I don't know what other responsibilities you have, but they probably pale in comparison to watching a compelling championship game, but I'll let you make your own decisions. Oh, tornadoes. Baz and I are Texans. We grew up with tornadoes. You still go to the store. You still watch TV. Nothing really changes. Oh,
ooh,
that's a nice hit.
Ooh,
Not a very good apothecary. You don't have the option to use both apothecaries, right?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Man, I told Kzarik you probably didn't need a 14th player. I could have been wrong.
You could have been wrong.
To be fair, I didn't realize he was going to foul.
Also true. I mean, I think it'd be very interesting if you could use the extra apothecary for like a second opinion, but the doctor runs out there's like, no, wait, he's not dead. Wait. But that's it's not quite what happened. Also, we kind of joked about Kryten taking another swing at the ball on turn 8 there, and had like the 20 or whatever % chance dropped, it could have helped. But now that you think about it, having the reroll for this next turn could have been very nice.
Yes. So, but I mean, hey, it's
And granted, getting the riot was unlikely. Oh.
Ooh. Oof.
Couldn't you have just... No, you definitely couldn't have just freed him naturally.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you don't pick up the ball before that. Oh, that's why, because you were just passing this turn.
It's passing already, wow. I'm a little skeptical about doing the pass already. You have the built-in pass and catch reroll.
Turn.
Yeah, so now he can... Also, I'm not in love with having both catchers next to each other, because if you just clear one of the cage corners, you can mark both of them with a bunch of stand firm guard kind of guys, in theory. Granted, all the stand firms actually at the front, but... Or dead, that one guy. Is this just going to come down to making like a 3+ leap and a 2+ dodge? As it always seems to with these types of teams.
I mean, there's only like so much you can do, really.
Dude, you have the squeakiest chair I have ever.
I know. I have a new one. I just haven't put together yet because I'm lazy.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, a new chair might have some squeak to it too, as you like break it in, but that's a old squeaky chair.
Yes, it's not mine either. Well, it was my uncle's, I think. I don't know how I ended up with it.
My pappy used this chair. His pappy before him.
Something like that.
That kind of thing.
It was more like, man, I don't got a chair. Can I bring this one? Yeah, sure. And then I bought my own, but it's in the box. It's literally right there. I can see it.
I can see it. I need to get a new chair. This
like 5 feet away from me.
Is there a chair that comes with like... How do I say this nicely? lower area cooling fans because it just gets so hot in here with this computer during the summer.
I don't know, man.
Imagine running a gaming rig with dual monitors and being up against the corner of your room in the middle of the Texas summer being really warm in here. I don't understand.
Yeah. My AC currently doesn't work, so.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Or, well, I'm having to ration it until I can get someone to come look at it. Just have it on sometimes. But I had it all for like 4 days.
Wow. Kzarik pondering his options here as we ponder home improvements. Whoa, what's this? Thermaltake Esports Comfort Adjustable. There is not one part of that phrase I don't like. So, might be doing some Amazon perusing here later.
That sounds like a bunch of things that make something cost a lot more than it should.
But if it cools my nether regions, I mean, isn't that worth it?
Maybe.
All right, well, guess we'll find out later. But for now, we need to see what Kzarik does here. Okay, nice knockout. Problem is you don't get to follow up, and you've kind of blocked your path, so I think you have to GFI here.
I think this first half's taking as long as our game did.
Just about. We finished just over an hour, I think. I remember looking at the clock at one point, and we were like on turn 5 for the first half. We were just 16 minutes in. I was like, wow, this is real quick.
Yeah, it was nice. I like quick games.
Oh, I thought for sure that sidestepper would be going on the ball, but I suppose if your biggest priority is to stop the leap, it's not a bad spot. However, it's going to be pretty simple just to take Arya Grimm and Blitz Damar and just even push him away. Assuming you get any kind of push.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a 2-die 3+2+, right? Like that's the play that's here.
Yep, no reroll, but we shall see. This is arguably the most pivotal play of this game. We haven't even seen the second half yet, but the difference between being down 0-1 and being like tied 1-1 with overtime as a Spectre hanging over you is night and day. Is there any way you can make this a 3-die? Your strength 4, you would need 3 assists. You don't have a guard nearby.
You've got 1.
Yeah.
No.
Without a guard now.
KO rolls are going to be big now.
Yes. 3 ducks out, 1 blitzer. But the dwarves don't have any reserves either, so...
And they have the KO out as well.
Yep. Is there a place you can leap to that won't be covered by tackle?
No.
No.
Because they're on our ass tackle.
Yep. Very good setup there. Welcome, Auntie, to the, I guess, game chat. Kryten doing his thinking, but I mean, I think the obvious play is just take Arya, blitz Damar, and then you just walk up, leap, dodge, and hope for the best. Can we get a probability estimate here? We just need a push, a 3+, a 2+.
I guess I could check. Should have never brought this up. You're gonna keep asking me things.
It's true. I don't usually inquire about math related things on stream, but Kryten's taking so damn long that we need to fill the airtime with something.
It's like a little better than a coin flip.
Okay. What is a good thing? Oh, damn it. I knew he was going to say hockey. I knew it. Is he just going to try to blitz out? Oh.
I don't think that was better.
No. Granted, if that was your block dice.
I guess you're thinking if you get the push, maybe you can just like leap and you might not need to do the dodge, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Kryten saw something there, but whatever he saw, I did not see.
Granted, we didn't see that 5+ dodge sack attempt earlier into the cage, but...
No, we did not.
So, regardless, if those were his block dice, he wouldn't have gotten the push either, so...
Yeah.
Hello, Baz, come back!
Yeah, I walked to the fridge.
Gotta get some refreshment. One might be parched after such a long half.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, so we've got exactly 11 dwarves left. We've got 12 ducks. Most of the KOs came back, 2 of the 3, although Mr. Peelan didn't. Taking a nice long nap, apparently. So what's your goal here, Kryten? Do you want to score in 4 turns and put some pressure on the dwarves to fumble the ball?
No. You probably want to score in turn 8. It's boring, but like it's probably the best play.
Depends how many rerolls you use to do it, I suppose. Oh, we're getting our first card of the game. Witch Brew, okay. Witch Brew, poison, so he's got really stupid. Which for a dump-off style thrower is not meaningless. Apajar, you got any other news or notes or stats or anything you want to throw in? That don't relate to hockey, of course. And we've lost Apajar. Okay. Must have been like a hockey warm-up session that he had to go watch or something. It's okay. Ironic that Auntie's saying Dead Dwarf is best dwarf when I think she said she was going to be bringing dwarfs in for next season in the non-AQ.
That's not true, Bart.
Good blocks by the Ducks here, though. Thick Skull helping Brian stay on the field. We might have to do some investigating on Mr. Charbonneau, see if he's actually attending class at Oregon, because as a senior, you should be getting smarter, not stupider.
Must be some nerves.
Menno says he can't hear anything on Discord. Interesting. I know if you do like computer updates, your input and output sometimes change on Discord, so try checking that in your options under voice and video. You may have to reselect your output. Must be convenient, though, to be running a team where you have like a dedicated pickup guy and he's having a bad day or a bad half in this case, and you're just like, I'll just use any of my other 4 Agility 4 players to pick up the ball. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Witch's Brew can be really cool against some teams. Elves aren't one of the teams that you get the most value out of it.
No, toss it like on a Khemri throw raw or something? Oof. Reminder for my Blood Bowl game at 9 p.m. Well, hopefully this one's done before then. I'm gonna have to go from watching dwarves to playing against them. It's not a fun night.
No, and it's a must-win for you.
No, I gain nothing from that game. I can only lose.
You can ruin your division rival's dreams.
That's true. Or Klaz's dreams. He's currently in the 7th spot, and he needs both full and OTS to straight up lose in order to hold on to that spot. Which for a rookie Chaos Dwarf team to be in playoff contention is very solid. OTS's Dwarves, I think this is their 4th season, maybe like 3rd and a half technically. I think they joined midway through.
Yeah, they were a mid-season join.
Also, his record's like 6-0-7, right? Like he has not tied a single game this year, which for Dwarves is remarkable.
So you're gonna try to tie them. That's what you're gonna do.
I've tied many teams this season. I've tied 8 games so far.
Nice.
And all he needs is a tie to get in. So, granted, I suppose it depends on what Fool does. Let me check. I think if OTS wins, he's straight up in.
Yeah, if OTS wins, he's in.
Okay.
If he ties, he needs Fool to lose.
Or tie.
Or draw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And Klaz needs both of them to lose. So basically, playoff picture is set in the NFC, depending on a couple things. It's an impactful injury there. For the numbers, really. It's not an impactful player. Then AFC, we've got 4 of the teams in the playoff picture, which is locked, still have a game left. Rel versus Robo being the most significant. Houston versus Las Vegas is interesting.
Is it?
For seeding purposes, I think you told me last night at 4 in the morning, for some reason we had a Blood Bowl conversation. There's like 3 potential places for the Sinners to end up in the seeding.
Yeah, but like it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter because Rel is just gonna like run through the AFC, or
no?
No. So Asty's gonna run through the AFC again.
Probably.
Is Minnow saying something from time to time? Yeah. Regardless. Do you like the pressure put on here by the doors? Just this big line of guard. Make the elves do some risky blocks or dodges?
No, I mean, I like this. You're hoping that because, I mean, if you're the dwarves, you have multiple paths. Like, obviously, ideally, you stop them. But if this goes to OT, but the elves have to use some rerolls to do so, that's not a bad, backup plan.
Right.
And if he decides not to, re-roll a failed dodge or something, then you get some extra hits in, and maybe then there's less players in a potential overtime. So
Mufford is raiding with a party of 6. I don't know what that means, but it's probably a bad thing.
So what's going on?
I don't know, something with Twitch chat.
Oh, you got raided.
I guess.
Yeah, that means somebody brought their viewers with them.
Hey, I mean, we like viewers. I'm not sure if they know Blood Bowl or the NCBB, but we'd be happy to have them along. I mean, if they're Einir's friends, I mean.
So you should know me.
I mean,
He's a former NCBB coach.
Oh, I know Mufford. That's your brother, right? Was that a yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, he is my.
Yeah, and he was the coach of the Lizard team that actually fought Oregon in the Season 5 title game, which is the first title game after the league restarts. So, a little bit of history there.
Yep. And he just finished streaming up some Dark Souls, so I threw the raid this way.
Okay. Not really related, but
It's not related, but throw it to other smaller communities, and plus it's the national title game. How often do you get to sit there and watch the national title game?
3 to 4 times a year, hopefully. Remember, I think that first in parentheses, first title game back in Season 5 with Oregon and I don't remember what his team was called.
Northern Lustrian Huskies.
That's right, the old Huskies. I think that one went to overtime, and Kryten had a very early superstar in the making in Bill Gambala, Agility 5 or whatever catcher, and he was the difference maker.
Yep, I remember watching that. But thankfully, after he won the Mufton, or tied the win, he held that over me until recently, and then I could say, I've won just as many Coach of the Year awards as you have.
That's true. It is named partly after him. Summertown. Oh, God, who was the third? It was a three-way tie. I suppose I have it listed.
In Kryten.
Yeah, I guess that sounds right. But we do have that in our NCBB awards page, so... The Sumufton Award. Three-way tie between Summertown, Mufford, and Kryten, who all had 2 votes apiece. Indeed it is. You won Season 35. Boy, there seems to be a huge gap between Season 17 and 33 where the commissioner just didn't do any single award voting. What a lazy shit.
Those are called the Dark Ages.
No, the Dark Ages are the first 4 seasons back when...
No, they're not.
The Khemri had, 1,000 games played. Back when Navy had legends like Joe Pearson and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, Kzarik in a very dominant position here. I'm not sure that reroll was worth it with the possibility of overtime, but...
Yeah, that's just a bad decision.
That is true. Cam Bright is surfable, and he's already... he's not had a great game so far. He skulled a 1-die block earlier. But true freshman, big stage. We got 14 specs on Twitch. We got 11 in the game chat. So, bright lights. It's tough sometimes. Yeah, Gark, I would agree. Good positioning by Kzarik. Got a bunch of players locked up, guards, staying firm across the board. Blood Bowl. Yeah, football, rugby, sprinkle in elves. Basically how I explain Blood Bowl to people who don't know. I say, take the Lord of the Rings races and imagine they're playing a violent version of rugby. I mean, not that rugby's not violent, but there's not giant minotaurs or chainsaws or other crazy shit like that. And you don't generally try to throw people into the stands for the viewers to literally beat the crap out of. Are we getting a double surf here? No.
No, he's just surfing the better one.
Ah. Very nice. Corn would be pleased.
Minnow, there's still a surf.
Alright, Damar Hamlin lives, unfortunately. Must have been a Pitt-friendly area in the stands there.
We know Minnow wasn't sitting there. That's what we definitely know.
That we definitely know, yeah. Which Dark Souls was Mufford playing, by the way?
The first one. He
First
started
one,
up a full playthrough on his channel
Okay.
again.
Again.
It's been a few years since he's last played, so there's a lot of trying to remember and half remembered things.
That's fair. I mean, I'm going to be starting a 4th Mass Effect trilogy playthrough here in a bit. So what happens when they remaster the best trilogy of all time and bring it to PC? Granted, I heard there's some issues with the PC version currently, but what PC port doesn't have issues at the start?
Ones that started as PC games.
Then I don't think they're called PC ports, but regardless, topic for another time perhaps. So, Duck's in a slightly better position than the start of last turn. Oh, our second dirty trick of the game, illegal substitution. Who is there to substitute?
The guy who just got served.
Oh my god, that's brilliantly evil.
They brought him in off the back edge, wrapped him around, and threw him back in.
Wow. Okay, I've got to clap or cheer for that. That's amazing. Kzarik, perhaps knowing in the back pocket he could just bring the guy back, tempts Kryten with the surf, which wasn't like a low probability move or anything, but still, when you know you can just get the guy back for free, assuming he doesn't, run into Menno in the stands, that's pretty fiendish. If this was a WWE match, we'd have some theme music playing or something. God, that'd be perfect for right now. Oh, Menno, were you AFK or something? That explains why that player lived. Good news for Kryten is that despite being 3 turns in, he has yet to have to use a reroll. Kzarik's already used 1. And did have to use a card.
He's used 2 cards this drive. Only 1 left.
That's true. What was the first one? Oh, the Witch's Brew. Long distance yeet here by Quadri. Problem is, you may have freed up your other blitzer. Okay, you have to GFI there. But imagine if you fail that. You either burn a reroll, or you let your player get surfed again.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like another pretty easy surf.
Is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not super easy, but if you push the runner, then you can just surf the blitzer again.
True, and that's a lineup that doesn't have guard. Do you have a guard nearby? You do, with the blitzer. So how are we doing this? Yeah, Amon, I agree about the WWE music. Okay, so we're taking Leo and putting him next to the blitzer. And then you do the push on Quadri. And then you follow up with the blitz and you serve Cam. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it that way. I'm not 100% sure that, like, it's worth doing that way.
Wait, what's... okay, well, what would you do?
I don't know. I mean,
okay.
I don't know, man. This game's going on too long. I can't be thinking.
It's true. But that's what happens with dwarves.
Oh, that's why I was Kzarik. He plays so slow.
I'm gonna drop out. Good luck. Good luck with the watching the game and everything.
Thanks, Liner. Take care. Oh, 100% Craig goes for the serve. Might be making the ball safe before he does anything else.
Well, I think he's just reversing, making sure he gets the score.
The score is not important. You're here to win the hearts and minds of the fans. And if you could surf that blitzer, everybody's happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Minnow will just tell us to give the trophy to whoever surfs the most guys.
That's one change I think we'd all agree on.
Do we?
So,
overtime.
We could take a poll. But yeah, overtime does seem more likely by the minute. If you're Kzarik, do you even cover that lino? Do you tempt Kryten to hand off or throw to him and get an early score? Even if it's not the good play, best play, even like a decent play?
I mean, there's no reason to cover him because, he's not going to give him the ball. Now, you might, depending on how everything ends up, you might end up still blitzing him just because, the pitch position might dictate that that's what you do. But right now, I'd be looking at it, and you've kind of got to get your guys back into a position to kind of threaten the ball and everybody at some point. Which, I mean, to be fair, he did reverse, but Kryten, it's not like Kryten made it too far down the pitch, so maybe you can get in the way a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I think you've got 3 blockers, starting with Carter up top, who's behind the one who's marked. Then the other 2 down by the blitzer. You can probably make a decent dwarf wall right around here, column 11, column 10. I'm tempted to take that Troll Slayer and blitz the lino once you tag him with somebody else from up top. And if you don't take him down, which you probably will, you can follow up with the block with DeMar. So you just maximize your chances of beating that elf up a little bit. I mean, you could blitz into the massive elves at the bottom and start mucking things up, but...
I mean, I'd be tempted to blitz with Chase Pine to free him and get him moved over some, but that's just because I like to minimize the amount of blocks I take in a turn,
True. And plus, since you're so damn slow as dwarves, you want to maximize your positioning, so either you blitz directly with Chase or take Quadri and come around and blitz and free him up either way. Baz, are you not entertained by this enthralling dwarf action? It's okay to be honest. You can tell us now. There's our blitz by Mr. Ford. Can we ban dwarves from finals?
No.
Yes?
No. Dwarves are great.
Durthu in the Twitch chat around the same time says, I hate dwarves are even in this national championship. I mean, that's fair. They got the 4th seed out of 4, and the race for that spot was very tight. Fresno State was right behind them. Washington right behind them. You could have made a case for several different teams for that 4 spot. And after watching Washington in the Rose Bowl just beat the shit out of Fresno State, you could convince me that they could have taken Pitt's spot. And then Pitt went out and beat Ottawa and then is leading the championship game. So, I don't know. The Dwarves didn't make the playoffs because Art did. I mean, that's a fair point. We did mention in the late season analysis that Pitt did beat 3 just very absolute bad teams during the course of the season. But they also beat 4 bowl eligible teams. So, they can only beat the teams in front of them, and they beat all the teams in front of them, or at least tied a couple as well.
Yeah, they never lost, which,
They had 2 really bad ties. I mean,
if you go 6-4-0, you're in the top 4. If you go 5-5-0, you're ranked 15th. That's just how it works.
That's how the league works, apparently. Mayhaps Pitt will start getting the Minnow treatment and start getting downvoted every season, because that's a thing, apparently. It's true, Dirthu. Dwarves never lose. Well, in this league at least. With Kzarik.
This season.
This season.
Well, they only lost once his first season, so
That's true.
pretty close. They're going to lose once next season, though. Hopefully.
Early season predictions from Bez.
Hopefully. Anyway, yep, so Kryten just moving down the wide zone a little bit.
Surprised that wasn't a block there, but...
Nah, you're trying to get some players down the pitch a little bit at this point.
Well, I suppose also Kwaji could have technically come around and gotten a shot on ball, even if it wasn't likely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, GFI, come around. You could have gotten one guy with some good rolls. You just let that go, keep your reroll. Okay. So Oregon making their move. If they happen to score next turn, you're not really super concerned about Dwarf scoring in 3 turns. It's possible for sure, but...
I mean, you're definitely hoping that you're not in a situation you have to do that.
Well, what can Kzarik do here to force that issue? Like, the best target seems to be Garrett Venice on the left side of the screen. And then you can tag the ball with tackle. Do you try to go through him? Do you try to go through Falama up front and then head them off?
I think you gotta head them off. I mean, if you're coming in and marking the ball like behind, then it's like one dodge or whatever, and he can still put together a pretty decent cage. I mean, it's gonna be tough to force Kryten into anything, I think. But not impossible.
I was a little surprised in our game that you stalled as long as you did. You had a lot of good players in good position, but it felt like a bit of a risk trying to stall it out more. Granted, I could just never get through all that to get to the ball. And since your guy had sidestep, trying to sneak in there with a skink to do a sexy little surf wasn't going to cut it either.
Yeah, I mean, especially with me having to use an reroll in the very first turn, I was like, I can't go to overtime. Ooh.
Aggressive reroll there, just to mark the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. That's 2. That's 2 that I'm not super sure on.
Is he going to try to dodge the runner through here?
I don't know. I mean, if he can get him to score early, then like obviously that's worth it. But I don't know. I mean, the chance that this goes the full 24 turns obviously isn't super high. I mean, he still has a full 3 left, but
yeah, it's not like some team that decides to start every game with 3. Sorry. Sorry, Nelphine. But seriously, that 3 reroll thing is gonna... We're gonna keep harping on it.
I only have 3 rerolls.
Right, but you used to have leader too.
That's true, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, you decided to roll plus strength instead. I was so bummed after working to knock that guy down into the Croxagore and freed up my Saurus that you just decided to casually make that 5+ dodge to remark my guy the next turn. I was like, ugh.
I mean, it had to be done.
It did.
Could have just let him go free. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, this is one of those things where it's like the order of having to do things is a bit tough on Kryten because he really doesn't want to score, but he won't know if he has enough dodges to stall early enough,
Yeah, he's got no free moves basically outside of like a 2-die block on the Blitzer. And even that, if you use the lineman, it's not without risk. Charbonneau's got a 50-50 chance to move as is. One guy's down. Your best Blitzer's tied up. This guy is marked by tackle, so... Decisions. Like, if you try to blitz away with Arya, and you know, like a double both down again, you've got to dodge, and you know, a lot of things could go wrong here for the Waterfowl.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine with that, though. Like, I mean... Okay,
Bold,
so there we go.
Bold block there. Like
So this makes me think he is going to try to drag this out a little bit. Which he should be able to get another turn, because he can kind of go and put the ball, like, right in the corner. And then you really only need one dodge. If you can get 2 dodges, it's, like, completely safe. But
that's a huge move by Charbonneau. Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously important. It's just not quite the spacing you need, but now it's much better.
Yeah, now you're good. Yeah, you just need 2 more guys, but and now if you can get the rest, maybe you can take this out to 8.
You do have to be worried about Quadri coming around, but that cuts that off, so very good turn for the Waterfowl here. Good old Ducks. Just the classic Oregon logo, unchanged in 32, 33 seasons of work.
It's a duck.
Just that little black silhouette. Don't reroll it. There's nothing that guy can do that. Okay, he decides to do it. Barely makes it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but
well, what does that blitzer there do? It makes it harder for the dwarves to just come through the screen and mark.
I mean, it helps you possibly get another turn of stall in, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, we've kind of talked about you're going to need the having rerolls for overtime is good. It's kind of like you're hoping for overtime, right? And now, like, you know, they're very well, the next turn or two could be something you have to reroll, and then you're at a potential reroll disadvantage in overtime, which does matter.
For anyone who's not familiar, when you go to overtime, there's another kickoff as per usual with a coin toss, and if you somehow make it through all 8 turns and no one scored, you just do a die roll, and the team that has the better die roll wins. But if you have rerolls left over at the end of overtime, which is unlikely but possible, something you can plan ahead for, you just add that to your roll.
Yeah, but sadly that's changing in the new rules.
Oh,
because
good surf attempt there by the Troll Slayer.
Because apparently the rule designers don't think people turtling for an overtime victory because they have more rerolls is fun.
I mean, they're absolutely correct.
Disagree. There's nothing as thrilling as winning on kicks.
Wait, are you saying that you would purposely get the ball in overtime and just turtle the entire time if you had extra rerolls?
If I was up on rerolls and down on players.
I mean, it's a valid strat.
I won a Blood Bowl 2 game. I ended up scoring on turn 23 because I used Hail Mary Pass. But I was humans against dwarves, and I was down players but up rerolls, but then he got a blitz. And so I dropped back with the ball, and I just like had my thrower by himself, and then I got one blitzer behind and just punted the thing.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's times when it's the right play. It's you know, during CRP, it was more of a thing when like there were shorter benches, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, if you make it to overtime as like an agility team, or as any team where you're beat up, and it's okay, you know, I have another path, right? Or if I'm like a bash team down numbers, where it's like, if I can just sit on the ball, maybe I can win the coin toss at the end, which could still be the right play even without adding rerolls. But I mean, obviously you want to score, but you know.
All right, turn 7 for Oregon in the second half. Probably, I mean, you have to score this turn, right? Like, you don't have enough room to operate, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty straightforward, really. I mean, you just you can blitz Cam Bright with the ball, and then go and sit the ball down here in the corner, and then you're just one block away from having it completely screened again.
Do you think he needs to be down one?
I would have put him down one, but this is probably fine. You know, you need one dodge. Yeah. I guess this is what
Wait,
this
you
is
need,
a little.
You need one more player, don't you? Yeah. And then you, yep, right there, move him one over. Then you're relatively safe. He may force you into a 2+ dodge next turn.
Fine. You're not giving up any chance of the return.
We should mention that the KO rolls, again, will be very vital, as 2 elves are currently out, and both of them are pretty damn good. Not to mention the Witch's Brew will wear off at the end of the drive, correct?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, the Witch's Brew ends at the end of the drive.
Yes.
So that'd be convenient to have Charbonneau back at full mental capacity.
If he comes back from KO.
If he comes back from KO.
This half's been pretty light on hurt. There's not been a ton of blocks.
So
But...
yeah, there's not been a ton of blocks. Dodges have been going pretty well for the Waterfoul overall. About as many casualties as we had in our game. Could we see a surf here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I think we will. I assume that's what he's doing.
Well, he's trying to, but he might be blocking himself from doing it well.
I mean, no. No matter how he sets up, he can do it.
Well, if you use your blitz here, you can surf him instantly, but you can't get around him to cover that square in column 4. I'd be kind of tempted to just block Leo with the blocker and then try to surf the catcher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd have to GFI once if you don't knock him down initially, but that AV7 catcher is mighty tempting. Decides to do it otherwise, though. We'll see if Quadri takes down a cage corner. Oh.
Well, that's something. Does that exhaust his bench? Oh, it's
2,
badly hurts.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I count 8 on the field, 2 knocked
Plus
out.
1, plus 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if either KO doesn't come back, or if there's any injuries on the turn 16 line of scrimmage,
Could be tough. Looks like this will come down to Falamo Trevor throwing a clutch. No. Are we gonna... Do we block with the lino, or do we blitz off with the catcher?
you blitz off with the catcher.
Okay.
Because then you don't have to use your reroll on
The block, if it goes wrong.
the 1 and 9. Yeah, you then have the dodge off.
I don't think it's worth fouling if you're Kzarik, even though that's a good blitzer, if you get tossed and don't take him out, you're not very deep either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, what, 10 dwarves?
Yeah, he has no bench left. He can't foul.
Yeah. I mean, he could, but shouldn't. Alright, well, here's our blitz, here's our push, and here's our touchdown.
Okay, so we got one KO back, but, you know, one's still on the bench. So we're going to get a set of blocks, and then the real game will start.
How about a movement 7 one turn? I mean, it's possible, I suppose.
It's doable. I mean, I'd do it. Try it. I don't know if Kzarik will. But that, I mean, with him not having a full 11, I mean, it's right now dotting with the back line is no different than it is for Edge 4, really. It's a little different, but not too much.
Doesn't appear that he's going for it. Definitely not going for the one turn. Does still have a card to use. Not sure it's going to be as dramatic as the return from getting tossed out the field, coming back through the end zone tunnel.
Oh, big reroll though. That gives Kzarik 4 for overtime.
It's huge.
Just a stun.
I mean, now you definitely have to foul.
No,
You should probably foul,
I wouldn't.
but you never foul. So,
Yeah, but like, is there anyone you can foul who's more valuable than one of your players?
it's
I'm
about
gonna-
sending a message.
Oof, 3 stuns. That's rough.
See, now you just have to foul one because the armor's like a little squishy after that's done. Passing from the dwarves. Blasphemy. And Dirthu says, if I don't max files every game, I'm not doing it right. Fair enough. Alright, so Mr. Pelon stays unconscious. That's 10 elves, 11 dwarves, 3 rerolls versus 4.
And
Kryten
Kryten has
gets the ball. Well, I think we said that when we saw he won the coin toss. We just assumed he would take the ball because you should do that. But
Yes.
it is official. He is receiving the ball. 3 rerolls.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of last season's championship game, which also went to overtime. And the team that was fortunate enough to win the toss took a couple turns and eventually got in the end zone. Oh, we got a card. Is it going to be good? Maybe? Exploding Ruins. That's the one where you like are a bomber, right?
Yep.
Interesting.
It's not very good.
I will say it's actually very good with High Elves. Because the High Elf thrower is like perfectly designed to take advantage of that card.
I mean, it's good on any team that has Hail Mary pass, to be honest.
Wait, you get Hail Mary pass bombs?
Yeah.
How have I not known about this?
Because you don't play goblins, and you banned goblins from your league, so you don't see anyone play them.
That's 100% accurate. Wow. Interesting. Are cards allowed in the NBFL, by the way?
No.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that you mention it, that skink I had earlier did roll doubles.
He did. He
could
did.
take Hail Mary Pass. He already has sure hands. And the next
I wish
season. Go ahead.
I wish cards were allowed in NBFL.
Too bad the commissioner couldn't do something about that.
Yeah, he had this weird idea that, like, because they're not in the actual rules, maybe they shouldn't be.
I mean, that's fair.
Nah,
Also, I kind of hate this defensive setup by Kzarik.
Really? Why?
Well, you got the 2 stand firm guys on the corners, which is fine. That's where you want them. But let's say Kryten wrestles him down, and then gets a whole horde of elves over here on a sideline screen. Isn't that just a easy 2-turn touchdown?
I mean, no matter what you do, there's going to be a fairly easy one. I mean, this might not be the way I do the defensive. I might just do the more typical Chevron type thing, but you're giving something up regardless. You're either there's either going to be a hole in the middle or the hole on a sideline. One or the other is going to be there.
Can't cover everything, but
because they don't let you use. I mean, if he had 12 players, maybe he could, but he already used his illegal sub, so.
It's true. Granted, you had to. Well, no, you didn't have to stop Kryten in the half, but doesn't seem like Kryten's going for the aggressive push either, which is fine. You're only down 1 player. You got some rerolls, and you're probably not super worried about the dwarf bomber destroying you. Now, if this was Total War Warhammer multiplayer, those stupid dwarves with blasting charges just desecrate infantry. Can you imagine you're training your whole life as a warrior? You got this sword passed down from your father and your father's father, and you trained at this prestigious academy, and you go into battle, and this just fucking 2-foot tall dwarf throws TNT at you basically, and you're dead. What an awful way to go.
No, I cannot.
Durthu saying Skaven for life in Total War or Warhammer Tabletop. You don't play Skaven in either league that I'm in with you. Durthu, what's the deal? Interesting follow with that lino. Skaven are too good to play. I mean, it's true. They are pretty good. Khemri, ogres, or halflings only, please. Ah. He's a masochist. I see. Alright, so we get a block here from one of the 2 linos. You send this guy down to complete the screen, and you threaten the quick touchdown. Pretty standard stuff here. Minnow, I hope that's one of the few times in your life you're able to say he's going for a quickie in public.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, as we kind of said, once the toss is won the way it did, there's not a ton that can be done.
There it is. Alright, so for Kzarik, he's obviously got to get out in front of this cage. Your obvious blitz target is Hubert, who's not had the best game. He tried his damnedest in the first half, but couldn't quite get the job done. I'd be real tempted to send Leo north into the vacant space around midfield and use him as kind of just somebody to keep some of these dwarves honest up top, but
Ooh.
he is kind of stacking up close together for a bomb, though, I just noticed. which I'm assuming is what you were saying ooh to.
No, I mean, I was just saying, like, we could just literally dodge the runner through and one die the ball.
Oh, there is kind of a gap there at the bottom.
But yeah, maybe a bomb first might be worth doing.
You don't fail if you fail the throw, right?
No, you do.
Oh.
If you fumble.
If you fumble it. I mean, this man's... He's not performed well today. Do you think he's really capable of making a clutch bomb throw here in the overtime of a national championship game?
I mean, you have it for a reason, right?
True. Granted, he wasn't, always a bomber. This is kind of something the coaches probably sprung on him last minute.
Well, this is his first ever game.
It's true. It reminds me there was a Super Bowl between the Redskins and, I guess, Denver. Sorry, they're not called the Redskins anymore. That's offensive. The team now known as the Washington football team was in the Super Bowl in like 89, 90, 91. And they had a rookie running back who they used a lot of the season, but he was very prone to being nervous before games. He's like a 21-year-old kid or whatever. And the coaches did not tell him he was starting until the opening drive of the game. They said, get out there. He was like, wait, what? And so he didn't have time to get nervous. And then the offensive line, known as the Hogs, literally destroyed the Denver defense, and the guy ran for like 200 yards. Good old Timmy Smith.
Nuts.
No bombing action?
Yeah,
Oh, and he fails a jig. Man, this Cam Bright, I don't know if he's got, pun intended, a bright future, but this game he is not played.
That wasn't Cam Bright. That was the other one.
Oh, my mouse was still on Cam Bright. Okay. Well, maybe just dwarf blitzers in general don't perform well.
But, I mean, I think...
Oh, here's the bomb. Here's not the bomb. Maybe he didn't see that gap here where he could have gotten through with the runner. Maybe he decided not to do it, but with the strength 4 catcher right here, seems like a pretty... Oh, he's throwing it at the catcher. I think you want to throw it at the thrower, though, right? Because you can catch this.
Yeah, he can catch this and then, like...
throw it back.
Or just blow up his path to score next turn.
Yeah, you could... Oh, my God. If he catches it and throws it at Quadri, and he could just walk into the end zone. Oh, none, like... Wow, nothing happens. That was the most anti-dramatic bomb throw of all time.
All right, so 2 die, 2+ handoff, 2 die blitz, go score. Done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have someone who has, like, block or wrestle do it, but cannot Bright. There you go, Menno.
Or you can just throw over him and just not throw an interception.
Yeah, I mean, you have accurate and
safe
pass
throw.
And safe throw. But if you fail the throw and have to use safe throw, you're kind of like in a really bad spot. But you don't really need the reroll. Well, no, you still need the reroll for the blitz potentially. And maybe a GFI if you have to. Or dodge if you have to. There's a couple things you might have to do. So we'll see what Kryten decides to do. My first thought is to block with Lindar so you don't push the dwarf into the ball. But if you do block with Falama and then he decides not to stand firm, you could use a wrestle 2 die and take him down. So I might actually block with Trevor first. But he's going straight for the pass. 2+, must be nice. Fails the intercept. Makes the pass, makes the catch. Here's the blitz. Gets knocked down
wins the game.
And wins the game, stunning the player and running past him into the end zone for good effect. So the game is over. Oregon has won the championship. It took a long time. It was a grinded out affair, but eventually the coin toss perhaps did the Dwarves in.
Yeah, but back to Oregon. This is their first title since season 26.
Wow.
But they're back. Back on top.
They're back on top, and they're my arch rival, and I'll have to give them a little bit of a beating next season. Kind of bring them down off the top of the mountain. All right.
I think that's their 7th title.
I think that's accurate.
That's what my accountant's telling me.
Kryten says he's got an official fumble poker chip. Speaking of poker, it'd be interesting to see, what the odds makers, had for this game. I think I heard a rumor that if there was an illegal underground betting ring, that it just would have been a pick'em game, and so I would be curious to see who picked who and what, but we'll never know because we don't have such a thing.
Who knows?
Congrats to Kryten in Oregon. A for effort for Kzarik. He had a great shot throughout this game. Just a couple things didn't go his way. Most notably that overtime coin toss, but such is life. Thank you, Baz. Thank you. Who else was here for a while? Einir, Gark, Hyper, Darthu, Wog, Minnow, many others. So thanks, everybody. We'll get the season wrapped up soon and send out all that off-season PM stuff and get it started up again soon.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.